You ever hear a song and there's just one word that grabs you? It's not the beat, it's not the melody. It's a word that makes you kind of tilt your head and go, wait, what? Well, in Guru Randhawa's track Dopamine, that word is, you guessed it, dopamine. So let's break down how this one little piece of science lingo fuels an entire, massive love song.
And this is it. This is the line. Baby, your eyes give dopamine. It's not just the hook, it's the whole idea of the song wrapped up in a single sentence. Think about it. He's not just saying she has beautiful eyes. He's giving her a medical diagnosis. He's taking this classic romantic idea, the power of a single look, and putting a lab coat on it. So what does that even mean? To feel love like a chemical rush?
So yeah, this central metaphor is really what makes the song feel so fresh, so modern. It's like he's trading in the old school hearts and flowers for the language of a science textbook, but he's using it to describe something that's, super personal and emotional.
What Guru is basically saying is, look, this feeling of love, it's not some kind of mysterious magical force. No, he's framing it as a straight-up biological event, a chemical reaction happening inside his brain. Every glance, every smile, every little thing she does is a trigger, a stimulus that sets off this chemical release. And he's decided to call that chemical dopamine.
Okay, so if he's going to use the word, we should probably understand it, right? What exactly is dopamine, and why is it actually the perfect chemical to describe that feeling of intense, can't stop thinking about you attraction? Let's get into the science of it for a sec. All right, here's the simple version. Dopamine is a chemical messenger in your brain. It's the thing that's connected to feeling pleasure and getting a reward. It's kind of like your brain's like button. When you do something that feels good, your brain releases dopamine, and it basically says, yes, that was awesome, let's do that again. It's what drives us, what motivates us to go after the things that we want. And what's so cool here is how perfectly the science lines up with what he's singing about in the song. He talks about this crazy attraction, right? Well, that's the brain's reward system going into overdrive. He talks about an obsession, how he can't stop thinking about her. That's dopamine driving his motivation. And that craving he feels for her, that's the brain chasing that feeling of pleasure. It's a perfect match. So what's actually causing this chemical flood in his brain? The song doesn't just name the feeling, it actually gets really specific. It gives us a whole checklist of the exact moments that are flipping that dopamine switch. And he's not vague about it at all. He lays it all out. A simple look from her eyes, her aankh, that's one. A light touch, halka sutera touch, can do it. Her smile, hus hus. And then there's this really fun kind of meta moment where even seeing her dance to his own music, Gurudev Nach Nach, gives him that dopamine hit. Each one of these is a concrete thing that triggers that chemical reward. And this line, wow, this just shows you how deep the whole idea goes. It's not just about the things he can see or touch anymore. Now it's the actual sound of her heartbeat, deril, dil, tuk, 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 that gives him dopamine. Her very existence, the sound that proves she's alive, has become his source of pleasure. I mean, that's a pretty powerful way to describe being completely infatuated with someone. But here's where the song takes a turn. It doesn't just stay in this personal, internal, chemical space. All of a sudden, it zooms way, way out and puts this girl he's into on a global stage. The whole story gets bigger. And then we get this line that totally changes the game. You're top in Malaysia, all of Asia likes you. Whoa, all of a sudden she's not just some girl he's got a crush on. She's an international superstar. This totally raises the stakes, right? He's not just trying to win over a girl, he's trying to win over someone who is admired by an entire continent. It makes his whole quest feel that much more epic. So, after all the talk about neurochemistry and her international fame and these grand statements, what does it all come down to? What is he actually asking for? Well, it turns out to be shockingly simple. His whole plan is actually pretty straightforward. First, he gives her props for her status, loved by all of Asia. Second, he makes his big offer. He'll drive her around in his Range Rover. But what he wants in return? It's so small. After all that, the entire grand proposal boils down to this one little phrase. Ek bari haan kha de. Just say yes, once. That's it. All this complexity, all this chemistry, and all he wants is a simple yes. So we're left with this really interesting question. By using a word like dopamine, is Guru Randhawa just being clever with his lyrics? Or is he tapping into something bigger, a cultural shift, where we're starting to use the language of science to explain our deepest, most human emotions?
Maybe describing attraction as a chemical reaction isn't unromantic at all. Maybe, for a new generation, it's the most accurate, most honest way to say, I am absolutely crazy about you. What do you think?